good morning. I'm Tanya Lenti, the marketing manager and PIO for arts and culture. Usually I'm behind the scenes, but because of Shelle's unwavering support and encouragement and belief in something, I can do this now, and that's growth. So thank you. Thank you. I can't imagine a more perfect morning to be out here on a newly summer day to celebrate Shelle's next chapter in retirement for all that she's done for the city and the state. Please join me in giving her a first round of applause. And it's my particular honor to introduce our Mayor Keller, who will also send her off into retirement. Mayor?
Awesome. All right. Yeah. So I think we've got a couple of short speakers. We have someone from Shelle's family, I think, lined up. Okay, great. And then, I'm looking at, we're going to run a show here a little bit because we got to fit you in. So what I want to do, I think, first is we do have a fun unveiling, no surprise, a little stories of us action. We're going to do that last. But I'll just, I think, begin, a couple of things. We have, some folks here have been with the city longer than Shelle and longer than me. And so we do, of course, I think in general, also just want to appreciate, one, this awesome venue that we're in and everything that the employees have done, throughout annoying directors and mayors to make sure that we have amazing places in our city for our families. And this is a really good example. So we're very pleased to welcome everyone out here if you haven't been here before. Also, this is, as Shelle corrected me, this is the shade that Shelle built as opposed to the house that Shelle built. But this was just one of the literally like hundreds of fun projects that Shelle and her team have done over the last, 8.5 years. And this in particular, too, is also a place that was literally meant to be a venue, just like the one at the zoo, where community gathers for all sorts of things. And I think in some ways, this is also very emblematic of what Shelle has done for all of her departmental enterprises and for us as a city. She's created time and time again places where folks from all walks of life and families can gather and enjoy each other and enjoy what we bring to the table, our own cultural background and our own stories. And so I think there's such a fitting venue to dedicate to you, Shelle, and to your work. Some of you were at the event that we had at the museum, I think a week ago. So I want to share a couple of stories, but some of them are repeats because they're good. In a sense that people come into your lives in different ways and you never know why. And this is true for all of us. But for me with Shelle, she was one of the first people that I sort of noticed and casually met when I moved back to Albuquerque after being gone for about 10 years. And as some of you know, I was indirectly worked for her. So I was a volunteer docent at the Hispanic Cultural Center. But I forget exactly how our paths kind of kept crossing. But, it was not a secret at all when I came in. We went through an original transition team, but I had Shelle and hoped that Shelle would say yes to this job, pegged from the day I ran for mayor. So the amazing thing was she said yes, and now has taken care of all of this for so long and fixed so many challenges along the way. So I think, one thing we don't always like to talk about, especially, in broader circles, but this entity called arts and culture, which was originally cultural affairs, right? We all know it includes the museums, the zoos, the libraries, zoos meaning the whole biopark complex. And there is a lot there. And each one of those has its own set of stakeholders. And I think what has been so tremendous about Shelle's work is she methodically kind of went through each one and got them in a place where we were really working together again as one Albuquerque. It sounds a little bit bizarre without going into the history, but I'll just tell you this. It was not like that when we came in. It was like Game of Thrones, and you had different castles, and there were alliances between them, and it was kind of unclear who was in charge. There were all sorts of things, and she brought just whole new organization and marching to the same drumbeat to this vast empire called arts and culture. But it's a credit to her, obviously her leadership, which you're all familiar with. We all know that Shelle and I, as we often comment, are both Scorpios, and sometimes Scorpios can sting a little bit, and so, but they also are really great to work with. In the long run, they tend to get stuff done, and so this is absolutely true for Shelle. She has just been a wonderful example of a teammate that I am going to miss, both for making me better and pushing back, but also in the end, making sure that we're doing what's right for the city. And I think also leaving a generational legacy. It's hard to think about, but if you do have kids or grandkids who are out in the city, like it is weekly that I think about Shelle's work, and I'm not kidding. We were just talking about the splash pad and how it's the only place you can get a drink and French fries and watch your kids play in a splash pad in the entire state of New Mexico. Those kinds of things are all over this place, Albuquerque. And there's still more to come, like the legacy continues. And certainly there's a team behind it, but there's also a leader at the top, and that's been Shelle. And, whether it's the train that one day will ride around here one day soon, or it's our famed shuttle that we'll get to use in all sorts of ways. But it's even, you go to Balloon Fiesta and you sit there at the Balloon Museum. It was not like that when Shelle came in. And you go to our libraries. Building a new library is a massive undertaking in our city. And so I think we do one every 20 years at best. Yeah, there was the Pat Baca one. I mean, hopefully we'll have another one. But the International District Library is another place. Like it's another house that Shelle built. But these places are all over our city. And then lastly, we see the impact all the time too. I mean, this is one of the most amazing things about parks and arts are just so externally facing that you can't ignore them if you know the people behind them and the leaders behind them. And just drive up and down Central. You see a neon sign that now actually works and was burnt out. That was Shelle and her crew, right? You see an awesome mural. Chances are that was Shelle and her crew. So Shelle, your work is all around us. It's something that I know we get to enjoy, and including you and your own family get to enjoy for decades to come. And it's a reflection of all that you've brought to the table. And so with a little bit of the other side of that equation, all of these jobs take a toll on your family. And that's true for all of us. We understand that. And I know, the reality is the toll is a little bit more for some more than others, and that is just part of the job. We expect it and know it's unfortunately the case for things like police and fire. These are very public positions, et cetera. Also, in many cases for arts, and especially when you think about what we went through with COVID, what you went through with Onyate, our legacy statue that is, I don't even know where he is now, storage.
He's very happy.
Yeah, wrapped up in a nice blankie. So anyway, those eras too also are extremely tough, and or they were extremely tough. I know for Shelle. We know that sometimes, whether it's city council or whether it's the public spotlight, and most often or not, of course, it's not deserved in any way. But sometimes too, people come for someone, right? Usually it's me, but it's not always me. And we've seen this with other positions in the city, where it just happens to be like those crosshairs are unfortunately on you, and people are calling for, resignation, and they're saying terrible things. And Shelle went through that, and she did it with power and with courage. And she came out on the other side kind of indestructible, which is awesome. But I know that was never lost on her family. So I very much appreciate all that you have all helped and put up with and supported Shelle to do everything that I just talked about, including get through those very tough times. So I think why don't next we hear from the family perspective. So Vero is here. Veronica, why don't you come on up? And then you can introduce Shelle.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good morning. I'm Veronica Sanchez, and David is my younger brother, and Shelle is my younger sister. She's not my sister-in-law. She's my sister. I proudly represent today the VanEtten and Sanchez families. I think I want to start with the way that, and I won't drone on as my brother asked me not to, but I want to start with the way that I was introduced to Shelle. Shelle invited me to a gathering of her female friends, like a million of them. No. We had met her, and I knew she was dating my brother. But the thing that so impressed me was this amazing group of women that she was were friends to her. She cultivated, she engendered, she loved, they loved her. And all of that you've seen carry through to the city, to her leadership style, to the kinds of things, the kinds of ways that she works with her departments. That's who she is. I'm only beginning sometimes, and I never really knew throughout these 8-9 years what a massive, difficult, challenging, and I knew the beautiful part of the job, but I didn't always know all the stresses. You know why? Because Shelle did not reflect them upon her family. She was always there for her parents, for her sons, for my mother's family, for my siblings, for her husband, and for his family. So I can only say, and I'm not droning on, right, Dave? No, that we're so happy now that she has left this beautiful legacy that will continue because she's created a great foundation. And we'll go on to enjoy it and appreciate it. And we now will enjoy her somewhat stress-free. Not that we ever knew that stress. So I introduced her as my sister because she is my cuñada because I like that word in Spanish, but really she's my sister. I'm her big sister. Okay. So I was with great pleasure and much love, Shelle VanEtten de Sanchez, hermana mía. Hermana mía.
Okay. All right. Let's see. So those of you that know me will not be surprised to know that today I'm feeling kind of a mix of things, like related to this stories of us today. It's like a real swirl of gratitude and honor and annoyance with the mayor. I'm going to get through all of them. I'm going to save the annoyance for last. But I'm going to start with gratitude because that's the important place to start. I am really grateful that the work that I've been able to do here at the city for the last 8.5 years, also just in arts and culture over the last, I've lost count. Braxton was a baby. He is not a baby, so like 25-ish years. I'm grateful that it's recognized, and I'm grateful that I had all of these opportunities, and I'm grateful that the mayor invited me to this work, and I'm grateful he didn't tell me how hard it would be before I said yes. I'm grateful that I really was able to do the things that are important to me, which is make space for creativity, make space for art and artists, make space for culture, make space for cultural workers, culture bearers, cultural organizations. This is the work that really matters to me, and I've been able to do it in a lot of different ways, and I'm very grateful for that. I'm also feeling very honored. I'm honored that Mayor has decided, we're still going to get to that, to dedicate this particular space to me. This space is very emblematic of what I love. There's shade. Anybody that's worked with me at the biopark knows that's a big deal. It's kind of probably a big joke too, but it's comfortable. It's a shady spot for us to gather. It's on a gathering spot. It's at the gardens, which is one of the most beautiful things in Albuquerque, and we are surrounded by beauty. We're outside.
It's a place where artists can perform and have the literal spotlight on them. It's a place where we can gather for education workshops. People can have events, and on normal days, people can just come and sit in the shade like this. Thank you for demonstrating. You can just come with your family and hang out here. This is like everything. This is my jam right in one space. And the thing that I think is incredibly important about the services that we create for the community that people don't see. And that we do a lot of that in arts and culture, but every director, as I look out here, everybody does something that isn't really seen, but people flock to and rely on. And now I'm going to talk about why I'm annoyed. The mayor knows I have really strong feelings with this type of individual recognition. Because I believe my work as a public servant is the work that I'm paid to do. It's the work in many ways that I'm called to do. And it's work that is meant to benefit the community. And so the individual recognition is hard because I know that anything important or major or lasting or transformational that I get credit for, there were at least 10 people, probably 100, and maybe 500 people that were part of making that happen. And that is true microcosm in this very beautiful but tiny piece of Albuquerque right here. You know, we had money to transform and create this space because the BioPark Society lobbied for a GRT tax, and elected officials supported that, and the City of Albuquerque taxpayers voted for it. So we had money to make this transformation. I pushed really hard for this space for a lot of reasons. But there were architects, and there were engineers, and then there were more engineers, and then there's more engineers. It's really hard to build something below the level of the Rio Grande over here. So this space was not as simple, but it was not easy. There were contractors, and then there was the BioPark staff, and then there was our community event staff. Poor Brie Ortiz, I took the other stage offline for 2 years while we made this come true, and they had to pivot for their programming. It's a lot of people. So I'm annoyed because that's a small plaque. There needs to be like 500 names on it in addition to mine. But it's okay. But I think that's true for all of us and for all of our work. And so I'm going to end by saying, there's one more reason I'm annoyed with Mayor, because he gets the last word this time, and that doesn't always happen between us, but this time he absolutely won, and he's doing what he thinks is best, even if I have issues. But I do really appreciate it. I mean, honestly, I'm very grateful, and I'm very honored for not just for today and not just for that plaque, but for the last 8.5 years, and for working with you and having this opportunity, all of them. So I will say also my family is here. I know that Vero says that I didn't carry the stress too much back to my family. I hope that's true. I think David doesn't think it's as true as everybody else. He was like, well, I don't know about that. But it's beautiful to have a family that supports you at the level that I always have had. So I am deeply, deeply grateful for that as well. So I'm just going to ask for 2 things before everybody scatters. I'm going to ask that my team come up and take a photo with me, and then all of the directors and mayor's team that's here come and take a photo with me. It is so hard, and everyone in this room actually knows, I'm looking around, it's so hard to really communicate what it means to be a department director for a city this size. Every single department has challenges. Every single department is delivering on services. This is also true for the mayor and executive team, delivering on things that people don't know that they're doing, don't know the city's even in charge of. They're just doing them, and don't know the number of problems that arise every single day.
it takes an incredible amount of energy just to do things, just the normal things, let alone push beyond and make some big things happen. And every director in this space has pushed beyond and continues to do that. And, you know, a lot of people are never going to see that, but I want to say I've seen it. I see you. I appreciate you. Also, I would not want to be a director without the friendship and ability to call other directors, or I would have quit for reals. I mean, I quit like 3 times, but I would have really quit and not come back without the support and camaraderie of everyone that's doing the same work. So thank you very much. And thank you. And this is officially my last event. So it is great to be here with all of you, but I am looking forward to not being at a podium for a very long time. Thank you.
And Shelle, you are a fitting Stories of Us recipient. Also, which I think is going to be true for a lot of folks just because of our tenure, but she's the longest serving director of the department in history. I mean, there you go. So with that, let's unveil this. So 3, 2, 1.